Hello everyone, today we are going to start with the chapter Pollination and Fertilization. Before proceeding with the chapter, we must know the objectives of the chapter. The main objectives of this chapter includes pollination. We will discuss types of pollination, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. We will discuss various adaptations of self-pollination along with its advantages and disadvantages. We will discuss in detail cross-pollination, various adaptations of cross-pollination, agents of cross-pollination along with its advantages and disadvantages. We will discuss in detail process of fertilization and number of events that takes place during fertilization. We will discuss fruits and its biological significance, seeds and its biological significance. The objectives that we will cover today includes pollination, types of pollination, that is self-pollination, various adaptations of flower for self-pollination along with its advantages and disadvantages. Now, what is pollination? Students, open page number 4.1 of your books. The transfer and deposition of pollen grains from anther to stigma of carpel in flower is called pollination. Students, as you know, anther and filament is a male reproductive part that contains pollen grains. When pollens are transferred from anther to stigma, stigma as you know is a female reproductive part. So this transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called pollination. There are two types of pollination. One is self-pollination, another is cross-pollination. Now students, let's go through the definition of self-pollination. When pollen grains from anthers of one flower are transferred to the stigma of same flower or flowers born on same plant, it is known as self-pollination or autogamy. Students, let's have a look at figure 4.1 of your books. This is a flower. When pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma of a same flower, this is known as autogamy. So, wherever word gamy is written, students, that means fusion of gametes. Now, when pollens are transferred from anther of one flower to stigma of another flower but born on a same plant, this is known as geitonogamy. Here you can see the process of self-pollination is taking place. The pollens are being transferred from anther to stigma of a same flower. Now let's discuss second type of pollination, that is cross-pollination, which is also known as allogamy or xenogamy. So students, open page number 4.2 of your books. Let's go through the definition. When pollen grains from anther of one flower are transferred to stigmas of flower born on different plants belonging to same species, it is known as cross-pollination. So students, look at figure 4.1 of your books. These are the two different plants. A and B are the two different plants. When pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma of another flower born on two different plants, this is known as cross-pollination, but the condition is the species of two plants should be same to ensure fertilization. Here you can see cross-pollination is taking place. Pollens are being transferred from anther to stigma of two different flowers born on two different plants by the way of agent, that is insect. We will discuss some another agents required in cross-pollination in detail in our next videos. Now students, we have learnt about self-pollination. Now let's discuss about adaptations of flower for self-pollination, which is given on page number 4.1 of your books. First adaptation is bisexuality. So students, wherever bi word is written, bi means two. Sexuality means two reproductive parts, that is male part as well as female part on a same flower. The flower should bear both the stamens and carpels so that both pollen grains and ovules are born in a same flower. Let's students have a look at this diagram. This is a structure of bisexual flower in which both male part and female part. Male part includes anther, filament, and female part includes stigma, style and ovary, which are present on a same flower. This type of flower is known as bisexual flower, and self-pollination is easily possible in bisexual flowers. Second adaptation is monoecious plants. So if the flowers are unisexual means single sex, right? In this, both the male and female flowers should be present on same plant. You can see this is a same plant, but one flower is having a male reproductive part and another is having a female reproductive part. So here self-pollination is possible. So best example is cucumber and shoe flower. Next adaptation for self-pollination is homogamy. What is homogamy? Let's break this word. Word homo means same and gamy, as we have discussed, means fusion of gametes. To ensure self-pollination, both the anthers and stigma of the bisexual flower or unisexual flowers present on the same plant should mature simultaneously. Here you can see this is a male reproductive part and this is a female reproductive part. They both should mature simultaneously to ensure fertilization. Next adaptation is cleistogamy. Cleisto word is taken from kleistos, which means closed, and gamy, as you know student, means fusion of gametes. So these flowers are intersexual. They remain closed during self-pollination. So here you can see students, this is a flower which is in closed condition. Both female and male part is present here in closed condition and ensures fertilization in a closed condition only. Best example of cleistogamy is Commelina oxalis. Next adaptation is bud pollination. The anthers and stigmas of bisexual flower ripen before the opening of buds. Self-pollination occurs before the flower opens. Best example is wheat, pea and rice. Here students you can see this is a bud. It usually occurs when stigma and pollen grains mature or ripens before the opening of bud. Here you can say bud opens and pollination has already taken place. Now students, we will discuss about advantages of self-pollination, which is given on page number 4.2 of your books. In case of self-pollination, chances of pollination are very high. As you know, no external agent is involved, so chances of pollination are very high. Parental traits are preserved. As you know, in this case, no another parent is involved, so parental traits are preserved. Very large number of pollens need not to be produced. Small numbers of pollen will ensure pollination. As flowers need not to attract some insect or some another agent, so flower need not to be large, showy or produce nectar. So what are the disadvantages of self-pollination? Repeated self-pollination decreases vigor and vitality of future generation. As you know students, much effort is not required in self-pollination, so there is decrease in vigor and vitality of future generation. The weaker or defective characters are also inherited, as no genetic improvement can take place, so weaker and defective characters are also inherited. Now students, open page number 4.10 of your books. We have discussed pollination, cleistogamy, various adaptations of self-pollination, advantages of self-pollination, and we have also discussed the plant which shows cleistogamy. So, thank you everyone.